I have just downloaded all 58 logos for teams participating in the New South Wales Senior State Cup this weekend, and I'm going to rank them. Okay, so a couple of things I want to talk about. What am I looking for in the ranking? I'm going to look at the design, if it's professional or if it's very pixelated, hard to see. The colors, do they represent your club? Like, do they match the jerseys that you play in or the singlets that you play in? Can I tell what your mascot is? Is it written there? Is it not? Is it hard to sort of make out what is the animal or mascot representing your team? And basically whether or not I think it's good or not. And that's going to be the definitive thing, whether or not I think it's good. I will say that this has no reflection on what I think of the club itself. There's probably a lot of logos out here I don't like, but I have a massive affinity for the club and respect them a lot. So this is just specifically logos only. Let's go. Okay, so I've made up a tier list. As you can see, they're going to be in alphabetical order, or mostly alphabetical order. There's one there I think that might have the mascot in there as the name that I'm using, but mostly it's going to be alphabetical order. So first off, we are starting with the ADF Warriors. Now this logo here, it is a nice color. It is Warriors. It's got a lot of blue there, which is a representation of the ADF team. They wear predominantly blue with a little bit of red there as well, so that's really nice. Don't know what the lightning bolt is. That's kind of weird for a warrior to be possessing a lightning bolt, but I like the mask. It's very sort of Newcastle Knights style, but the thing is, it doesn't say ADF anywhere. Like, it says Warriors, but what is Warriors? Like, that could be anything. So any team that sort of starts with W could be represented as a Warrior. So I think their points drop a little bit there, but I am going to put them in the B tier. So it's solid. The logo itself, solid. I really like it, but where's the Australian Defence Force recognition there? I think that's a very important team that you should be recognising. Anyway, on to the next. Appin Warriors. So again, another team that Warriors. This first one could have been Appin, but let's have a look at this one. Very primitive. It seems to be just a silhouette man standing with his back turned with holding a spear. Representing 25 years as a Knight's touch. The only downside to this is Appin Warriors touch is look like it's very tacked on like a stamp. It's very looks like it's written in Canva and with any font that they wanted, and it's just slapped on the top of it there. And you can see like the back of the legs and stuff, and the spear is going through the words, and it just makes it look like there's a bit of a glitch going on where it, just under where it says Warriors, the I and the O, there's a bit of stuff in the background, and it's all the same color, so it just doesn't really mesh well. But I like the backdrop. I like the background, how it's not just a pure color. It is like an artwork, whether or not it's like an indigenous style. I think that's just a nice touch. But again, it doesn't look very professional. It looks pretty cheap looking. I'm going to put that in C tier. That's going to go right below Defence Force. Okay, next up we've got Ballina Touch. It's the Bull Sharks. Beautiful color of blue. I really like the gradient. How it goes from dark to light. Ballina Touch is in blue. Bull Sharks is in that sort of silvery color, and you've got the color of the sharks that sort of match there as well. I actually do think this looks quite professionally done. It looks like it's done by a graphic artist. It represents the colors very well of the team that they play. Ballina Bull Sharks, they look exactly like this logo, so I think this is really well done. The only nitpicky thing that I've got is I have no idea what the difference between a regular shark and a bull shark looks like, but that's definitely a shark. There's no doubt about that. I'm torn whether this is going to go. This could be our first S tier rating. No, I'm going to put it in A. Sorry. The only reason I'm going to put it in A is it just looks that little bit too clean. If anything, it could be a bit more like vibrant as far as things that you've put on the screen. Like I fully understand that sometimes less is more, but this is logos we're talking about. I think a little bit more fun could have been had here, but excellent logo from Ballina. Next up, Balmain Touch. Probably, if we talk about less is more, this is way too less. We've got a Balmain Tiger here. It does say EST 1975, which is always nice to know. And then it just says Balmain Touch. Just like we have with App and Warriors, it just looks like it doesn't look like that nice of a font, really. The Tiger itself's okay. But yeah, it looks like the font just doesn't even look like part of the logo. It looks like it's underneath the logo, and the logo itself is just a tiger. So a little bit disappointing there. The colors really match. It's a nice orange. It's the exact same orange that's on the singlets. But you can identify what they are. Balmain Touch. It's super basic, and it's also going to be a C tier. Bankstown. Okay, this is like this just looks like a referee badge. It looks like the badge that they wear on their referee shirts. It says Bankstown Touch Football. It's very subtle. They are the Bankstown Jets, and there's a very subtle jet in the logo that's flying around the ball, but way too subtle to pick up. Like, if you didn't know they were Bankstown Jets, you would probably never understand that. I think with Jets, there's a lot of cool things that can be done. This doesn't look like the logo. This is just looking at the other logos, especially some of the S and the A tier ones. It doesn't look like a logo that could be touch football. It just doesn't fit in. Like, it looks nice. It's green. It's got the same colors. But it just looks like a badge. It doesn't look like a logo at all. So, yeah, unfortunately, sorry, Bankstown. D tier. It's not time for a new logo. Probably, if anything, just put Jets on there just to show that, yeah, you're the Bankstown Jets. Okay, Berry Touch Association. Beresfield, sorry. No, we're at Beresfield. Barrow. So the Barrow Bandits, got a lot of history with this club, EST 1982. Recently changed their logo. Since I've played there, their logo has changed. It's a very sort of mysterious bandit. I actually don't mind this. I think it's an improvement. I do like what they've done with the logo here. I like how the mask is yellow because their colors are black, blue, and yellow. I think the B on the hat looks a bit like a sticker. It doesn't look like it matches the design. Yeah, it just looks a bit of a sticker. And again, Beresfield Bandits, it looks like it's underneath the logo. I like the difference between the handwriting with Beresfield and Bandits, but again, I think that should have been incorporated within the bandit itself rather than just being underneath. So we will go Beresfield Bandits. We're going to go C tier as well. There's probably C tier looks like it's going to be pretty stacked. Berry Touch Association. They do have one team coming, so they definitely qualify for this ranking. Again, it just looks like a badge, and we don't know. It looks like they could be the Magpies, but again, we don't know. Assuming that their colors are black and white looking at this logo, are they in fact that? I don't think they are. I really don't think that they're a black and white team. Yeah, this one looks like the badge even looks like it's almost hand-drawn. Unfortunately, this isn't a great logo. It honestly looks like it's from the 1960s. It looks like it's something off a very old blazer that your granddad used to have because he's a life member of Berry Touch. So I like that it says Touch. I like it. You can identify that it is from the Touch Footy Club. But sorry, Berry, we are going to go. It's time for a new logo. And look, you probably deserve it. You're an up-and-coming club. Your numbers are only improving, so I think you can deserve to treat yourself a little bit and get yourself a nice, vibrant logo. Canberra Brindis. Now, one, I don't even know. This could be ignorance of my own. I don't actually know what a Brindy is. Whether or not it's a representation of a thing or a something, I don't know. It says, the nice and vibrant Brindis, Canberra. Again, love the artwork. It does have the red actually stands out as the colors that you play in, which I love. But What is Canberra Brindis? Is it a chess club? Is it a water polo team? What is it? We don't know that it's a touch club just by looking at the logo. So probably not enough information on there. But I really like the artwork. But again, the information is lacking. This could be any team. I'm going to go with D tier. Probably a little bit harsh, but looking at the ones above it, the information is all there. Again, same with Canberra City Magic. We don't even know where they're from. It just says City Magic. I know it's Canberra because I've played against them. But if you're looking at City Magic, the first sport that comes to mind for me is basketball. Magic. That's what I think of. And looking at that football that's on the logo, I would think AFL. I would think that's an AFL team somewhere because of the look of the ball. If it said Steeden, I would probably think Rugby League. But again, there's just not enough. The colours are good. I like the pink and the blue together, but again, not enough information to explain to me what exactly it is. It's also going D tier. Canterbury Touch. Again, this is super simple. Canterbury Bulldogs. If you know anything about the rugby league team, you know that Canterbury does relate to the Bulldogs, and you can see that is a pretty distinguishable bulldog on the screen. I like the Canterbury font, how it's like that wide and going in. It's kind of like a bow tie. Actually, it's probably a pretty good explanation to it. And I like touch. It's just sort of plain under it. Canterbury Touch, nice and simple. Love that. That's like my favorite color. The same as like the Ballina one, that nice blue. Really like that. It's the iMessage blue that's my favorite color. Very simple. The red collar stands out. I wish they'd somehow incorporate Bulldogs, but that's nitpicky. It would be only if you were brand new and you had no affiliation to the NRL club that you wouldn't know that they're Bulldogs. I'm going to go with B tier for Canterbury. Carlingford Cyclones. It's a bit of an abstract one, I think. I actually don't mind that they've got a little slogan on there. So it's got Carlingford Cyclones. Play it because you love it. I actually think that's a really nice touch. I really don't mind that at all. I wish we'd see more clubs incorporate, like schools do, with their own little sort of phrase that they represent, that represents that school. So I really like that. And I think it's really clever how they incorporate the ball with a cyclone. With the cyclone, like, because if you look at the weatherman, not the weatherman, but if you look at the weather from a satellite perspective and look at the way the cyclone circles, it's actually like that, but also a footy. And I think that's really clever. But again, Carlingford's very hard to see. Cyclones, it just looks like it's just covering a really nice piece of subliminal messaging. Very creative. I will give it that. Carlingford, if you look at it for 2 seconds, you're going to think it's pretty average. But once you realise what's going on in there, I think it's a B tier as well. Central Coast Touch Football, 1983, and they are, as you can see, they are the Dolphins. It's a very dark blue colour. Now, if anything, it's weird because I associate Dolphins with the light blue, like that Ballina Bull Sharks. If that colour was on Central Coast and the Central Coast darker, more mysterious blue was on the Ballina Bull Sharks, I know that their singlets would have to change as well, but that, to me, that just makes more sense. Like a dolphin, I've always seen as like this playful, fun animal that everyone really likes, and then to put it with such a dark blue, it just seems a bit weird. But super nitpicky. I really like how it's professionally made. Central Coast is just part of the logo itself. It's not just tacked on. Everything just seems like it's got a really nice spot for it. I like the use of the red behind the dolphin. The dolphin looks cool. It would not surprise me if the same person made this as the person that made the Ballina, just because of the way that the animal curves around and is looking to the right. And so for that, Coast, you are very, very, it's like the brother to Ballina Bull Sharks. You're going in A tier as well. Coffs Harbour Hurricanes. Now, I've only realised recently that they're actually called the Hurricanes. I've just known them as Coffs Harbour Touch. So it's nice to see a mascot. If anything, it's the weather, which kind of always is weird. But anyway, maybe I just hate the Melbourne. Well, I don't hate the Melbourne Storm, but it frustrates me how good they are. The weather as a mascot. How do you dress up as that if you had a dress up mascot day? But I like it. It's a nice colour. The dark blue, Coffs Harbour play in that dark blue and white. So it represents the colour fine. Coffs Harbour Touch it's all the information is there. It's hard to get a hurricane. Like you look at a hurricane, if I said to draw a hurricane, you probably would draw a tornado, even though that's technically not right. As good as it can be, I'm going to give Coffs Harbour Hurricanes a B. Not quite as good as Ballina and Central Coast. Doyleson Dragons. Now, for some reason, I can't find a good quality copy of this on the internet, whether it's their Facebook page or Google itself. So that's a little bit of a shame. And it looks like it's from 20 years ago. It looks like it was one of the early graphic designs made, and it just doesn't have that modern style to it. But I really like the yellow and the blacks represented there, which is obviously their colors. If anything, now they're sort of more black than yellow with their success of their men's open team. I like everything about it except for where it says Doyleson Touch, how it's just sort of hovering over the top. I would have loved to see that embedded inside that circle with the dragon itself. I think it's a really good dragon, and it would have been good to be like where it says dragons, how you can tell it's part of the logo. Doyleson Touch looks like a bit of an afterthought, and they've just tacked it on top. So we're going to go C tier for Doyleson Dragons. Okay, Dubbo Touch. You wouldn't know. Now, they do have a different logo on their Facebook page. It looks like a bit of an update, but it's less of it doesn't look like a logo at all. This is the closest I can get to a logo, and this is what's actually on my sideline when you look at their logo next to their name. And again, you wouldn't know that Dubbo are the Devils. Like, there's nothing there that showed me that we were playing for the Dubbo Devils. It's a handprint, which is cool. It looks nice. It says Dubbo Touch Association, 1975. Happy 50 years, by the way, to Dubbo. That's amazing. But again, like as far as a logo goes, it just looks like a heading with a hand. So unfortunately, whilst that looks like it's done really well, it's nice quality. The handprint is a nice touch. It looks like it looks like a school team, if anything. The handprints are really associated with primary schools. In my eyes, they are anyway. So Dubbo, I think it's time you incorporate the Devils. If you're changing to something else, incorporate your mascot into your logo. Make it fun, because I know the numbers you're getting at your club are insane with the juniors, so I think it's time for a new logo. East Roosters, another badge logo. This one looks old-fashioned. Like, it's got that real rustic, the silhouette, like a coloured silhouette about it. It looks like it could be made of, like a badge that was made of cotton rather than metal. Eastern Suburbs Touch Association, and it's a picture of a rooster. There's not a lot to it. They are white. If anything, they're more blue than red, but the outline of the badge is blue, so that's all there. Look, I would say it's okay. It's not particularly great. It's not exciting me at all, especially when you've got an Eastern Suburbs Roosters rugby league team that you can be linked to. It looks nothing like that. So I think this could be a lot more fun and a lot more modernized. So East Roosters, time for a new logo. Foster Tuncurry. Now on my sideline, it's got Foster Tuncurry written under it, but everywhere else on the internet, I can just find what looks to be tornadoes or something like that. So Foster Tuncurry, the colors are the same. It's nice green and yellow. I like the fact if there's something to do with a storm that a hurricane is wielding two pieces of lightning in their hand. That's kind of cool. You probably don't need a new logo as far as that little mascot thing, but you need to have Foster Touch somewhere where people can see. You need to be able to like identify yourselves out there on the internet that you are Foster Tuncurry Touch Association. So it's not time for a new logo, but you need a lot more on that. I'm gonna go D tier. All right, Gunnedah Go Annas. This is what I'm talking about with a fun one, and it's a nice animation of a goanna. Gunnedah Touch goannas. You probably don't need anything else there, unless they have a starting year that's worth mentioning. If they start in 1980 or something like that, if they've got anniversaries, big anniversaries they want to show off, they can put that there. I like the goanna is holding a touch footy ball, very small touch footy ball, but he's holding a touch footy ball, and he's even wearing a singlet that matches the Gunnedah goanna's colours. I actually really, really like this. And touch football we've never really associated with too much of as a serious sport. While that's done professionally, it does have that little bit of fun to it. I really like this one. Personally, I'm going to say this is what you want in a touch footy logo. That's S tier for me. It's just got that little bit of fun to it, which I think is very important. Next up, Hills Hornets, another one that looks pretty fun. We've just got Hills Hornets touch football. It's a badge, but done in a fun way. It's like a hornet sitting on top of, like inside, or the badges behind it. It just looks very 3D, which is kind of cool. Hills Hornets touch football, very compact. It's a hornet. It's pretty cool. Whether or not I think it's as poppy, like when I look at that compared to Gunnedah, the first thing I see is just a hornet, and then I go, oh yeah, Hills Hornets touch football. Whereas the first thing that I see in the other one is goannas, and so I know it's a sporting team. Look, that's nitpicky, but like I said, it's the first thing that you want to see. You want to give me some information, so I'm going to go Hills Hornets. You can go A tier. All right, Hornsby. Like, I don't know what to make of this. This is a circle with when you look and try and decipher what's inside of it, it looks like a lion with a purple, blue, and black mane with a crown on it. They are the Hornsby Lions, so it makes sense to have a lion inside it. I'm not against the whole circle with your mascot inside it, but at least incorporate some 3D elements to it. Have the mane that's in front of part of the circle and stuff like that. And the way Hornsby Touch Association is going around, so you read Hornsby Touch, and then you got to go back around here, and then the circle goes the other way. That's the trouble you get in when you start riding around a circle. I'm just not a fan of. So I think this one really needs a bit of an update. It's so abstract. It's so like, what is that in the middle? I think it's time for a new logo, Hornsby Lions, especially when you are such a well-known club. I think you deserve better. All right, Japan, very hard to rank this one. This is because they're a national touch football team. I don't think that they can probably get away with the fun element because they are representing their country. So yeah, I can understand the professionalism there. I like the whole football oval with the JTA, Japan Touch Association. I just would like to know if they have an animal that represents Japan. But because of this, I'm just going to simply put them in C tier. Lower Blue Mountains touch football. Now, this looks a little bit different than the one on my sideline, but the one on my sideline I couldn't find anywhere. Same design, just different color layout. And look, when you don't think that they have a mascot, I think the mountains itself are the mascot. So they're using the mountains as in their logo, which is a bit of a bold thing to do because I don't know how exciting mountains can be. And it looks a bit weird how you've got lower, which is on the mountains, at the top. So There's not much you can do when you want to incorporate Lower Blue Mountains, like the mountains, as part of your mascot. I like the colors represented. I think the white makes it looks like it's just covered in snow, which is not a bad thing. Blue Mountains, it's got that bow tie font. And touch football just looks like it's your standard aerial or something like that. It's okay. The mountains are there. You can tell. Yeah, it's okay. Look, I'm gonna do another C tier one. I don't think you need a new one, but I think you could just make it a little bit more exciting. Just add a few elements there. Lismore lizards. It's cute. It's cute. I actually can't, off the top of my head, think of what color you wear on the field. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how to make this one. I like the lizard wrapping around the ball and sort of resting up on a touch football ball, even though the touch football ball is for some reason black and looks like leather. But I don't like it how it says Lismore Lizards touch football in such just cheap looking handwriting. That I reckon they could completely revolutionize this logo and keep the whole idea of the lizard crawling up the footy. I like that. But yeah, they need to do something else with the whole font and the title itself of Lismore Touch Association. So I like the fact that it's got all the info there, and I like that whole footy with the lizard on it. So I'm going to cheat a little bit here. You do kind of need a new logo, but you can just change the things you don't have to like change it completely. You can just put the font and then just sort of update the current thing that you've got. But I'm going to go D tier. Maxville Falcons. I like this one. The only downside to this is I couldn't really find a great quality image online. But the colors are there. The green and black with a bit of white is nice. I love the fact that the Falcon is facing you head on, rather than looking to the side. It's got Maxville touch. The first thing I see is Falcons. That's such a big focal point. The symmetry is good. The fists look like fists. They don't look like falcons. They don't look like falcon claws. They look like they've got a couple of fists there that are ready to punch me in the face, but impactful. I really like this one. I'm going to go A tier. Maitland Redbacks. S tier. No, I probably shouldn't do that. Let's put it back. Maitland Redbacks. The spider on... I'm going to be biased here. People are going to think I'm biased. The colors are the same. The spider is in front of the outline of a footy, and the legs go in front of the titles, which show some 3D elements. The Maitland Redbacks font looks like a font that you would see in a logo. Look, I probably won't go S tier. As far as exciting goes, I think you probably could make the animation of the Redback a little bit more exciting. I'll give it a B tier. Hopefully that kills the biasness. I want to put it S tier, but I can't. Not if I'm comparing. I do think that the Falcons one is a little bit more exciting than the Redbacks one. As much as I love Redbacks logo. Okay, so Manly. This is an interesting one here because the bird itself looks nice. It's a good bird, but then it's just another one of those logos where the font, like the title, is just tacked on. It just doesn't look right. So yeah, make it better, Manly. Like you're one of the biggest clubs in New South Wales, and I think like you deserve a great, exciting logo, especially with the amount of kids that you have playing. So use the bird, keep the bird, just fix the font. D tier. Milton Ulladulla Touch. I like they are the bullfrogs, and if you look on my sideline and the logo they had before this, it looked like the Freddo frog, and that was awesome. But then this one has been updated since, so I have to use this. Look, I like the green. I like the fist. It would have been cool if the frog was holding a ball. It's just nice and simple. Milton Ulladulla Touch. That's all it is. It's kind of middle of the road, but it's a little bit It's got that fun element to it. I'm going to give it a B tier. All right, Maruya. Sorry if I said that wrong. Death Adders. That's an out there mascot. It's big snake fangs. It does say touch football in the green. Maruya are more, from what I remember, they were a bit of a yellow team, but I could be wrong. We've played them once, and it was at a country champs at Wollongong. Maruya Death Adders touch football. I don't think the Death Adders rolls off the tongue when you say Maruya. I think there's a lot of things that start with M that you could have used. Even though a Death Adder is probably a cool sounding name, it would have suited Dubbo more than Maruya, unless there is an abundance of Death Adders around Maruya. I'm going to sound like an idiot if I'm saying that wrong the whole time. But it's got that fun to it. It's going to be one of those ones where I'm just going to put on B tier. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I think that there just could be probably a little bit more. I think there could be a little bit more to it. That's all. And looking back, there's probably a couple that I'd change, but I'm going to stick with it. Mudgy. This is like it's super basic, but I like the part in the middle because I like the way the crab looks like an indigenous artwork from like hundreds and hundreds of years ago. Those ones that you find, how it's just like finger drawn. I really like that part of the crab. A Mudgy touch looks like it's tacked on. 1983 looks like it's tacked on. I think you can really modernize this as well. It's a little too basic to me. I'm going to go D tier. Murwillumbah, the controversial team. Probably not so much anymore. They were not in State Cup for a number of years due to the controversy that they had around their teams that they were putting in. A lot of them had Queensland representatives, but I assume that by coming back in now, they are only in a lower division. I think it's just people from Murwillumbah representing in here, and that is a great logo. Murwillumbah Mavericks touch football. I love it's still got like that badge, that old school badge to it, but you got the Maverick poking its head out and resting its nose over the top of Mavericks touch football as well. The colors represent their playing strip. They do have that light blue. They kind of look a little bit like Ballina, and the color, but I really like the Maverick, the look of it, the hair blowing in the wind. The artwork is very good. So as much as I used to dislike this, I used to dislike the fact that this club had players. I'm sure the club had great committee and stuff like that. I do really like this logo. Tossing up between S and A. No, I'm going to give it an S. I'm going to give it an S tier. It looks at face value, look like it's done a little bit too seriously, but you look at the eyes of that Maverick and it's giving you that like little smirk. So no, I do like that. Nelson Bay Neptunes is up next. I'm getting real Little Mermaid vibes off this one with the Triton and everything like that. When you think of Neptunes, the first thing I think of is the planet and not like something like this. I like he's holding the footy. I like the footy's gold. The colours are representative. If anything, they're probably a little bit more purple than blue. No, actually, I got that wrong. They are blue. That's probably correct. They're just a little bit more of a dark blue. I like the guy's big mustache. Yeah, he looks like the character from Little Mermaid. The only thing it's missing here is touch. Nelson Bay Touch Football. Nelson Bay Neptunes Touch Football Association or something like that. And I think we could probably modernise this Neptune to make it look a little bit less hand-drawn. I think you look at the graphics from Goannas, Bull Sharks, Hornets, Mavericks, Falcons, and they just look very much more up to date. So Neptunes, you are still going to B tier. Very close. Newcastle City Knights. They actually got the affiliate of the year last year when I was looking at all affiliates progress from the previous year. It's very red. It's very red and blue, and I think that there could have been a little bit more given a little bit more dimension to it. If you added some black, if you added some shades, it would give it 3D. It looks a little bit like a big red-blue cloud. Until you look closer, you can sort of see where the cape ends and the arms begin, and stuff like that. It's a nice shield. Newcastle City Knights, the swords in front of Newcastle's E, which is good for the 3D stuff. If anything, the Newcastle City text is a little high. There's a lot of empty space behind that knight. Even if they added something like that badge that you see, like that Hills and Coast have done like that, if they incorporated that, it might have been a little bit better, but it is a very solid logo. I'm going to go B tier. North's Bears. All right. This is a really interesting one because we have 3 different texts here, which I want to point out. You've got North's on top, which is probably the first thing that I see is North's. Very bright red, and same with Bears at the front. It's slanted text to make it a little bit different, and the bear itself is black and white. I think that's very clever because while the bear is in the middle, the color is around it, so your attention goes to that before. And when you look closer, you see the EST 1979 in the backdrop. It looks like you can't see much of it, but you actually can see 1979 quite easy. I think that is a really cool idea. It's missing touch. I will say that, but I think the way that you've got EST 1979 as like that bonus bit when you've seen the logo and then you go, oh, hang on, look at that. I think that's really cool. I think Norths have done a really good job there. I'm going to go A tier. Nowra Shoalhaven Touch Association. Now this one, I actually don't know what the animal is there. Is it a duck? Is it a seagull or something like that? Anyway, I like the fact that it's holding a ball and it's got the initials of the team on there. The yellow sort of flame, I guess you could say. I don't know what it is. I don't know why it's there, but it's yellow and they wear yellow. It's really giving me vibes. This is the vibes it's giving me. When you saw a duck, someone in cricket get a duck back in like the early 2000s, you saw that animation of the duck walk across the screen. It's like as if that duck grabbed a footy and started running. That's just what I'm getting. Look, it's okay. It's a little like there's a difference between fun and a little silly. This is very like Bugs Bunny Roadrunner style cartoon. The claws, I don't know what animal that is. And it could be something completely obvious that I'm just not quite getting, but look, I don't know. So now I'm going to put this at C tier. Okay, Old Bar Pirates, I've got a bone to pick with you. You don't have a logo. And if you do, I can't find it. There's nothing on my sideline, there's nothing on your Facebook page, and there's nothing on Google. I cannot find a logo. So if you don't have a logo, you can have this one. All right, I put it through ChatGPT and I said, create me a logo. I put some prompts in it and I used Pirates because that's what your rugby league club's called, the Old Bar Pirates. So here, free logo for you guys. If someone from Old Bar wants to email the channel or message me, I will send it to you and you can just have it. There you go. And because I made it, I'm going S tier. No, I'll put it at C tier just because it is AI generated. Even though it does have a cool pirate, he's got a wooden leg, and yeah, he's holding a footy. So it's what else do you want? I just don't know about the colours. I couldn't think of what colours you wore at Old Bar, so I apologise there. Wait, why am I apologising? I just gave you a free logo. Just have your logo. You can change the colours yourself. Orange Thunder. Okay, so I really like what who did it with that? Carlingford. They had that little like phrase that represented their club. I like what Orange have done. They've got respect, resilient, and excellence around the circle instead of where Hornsby Lions they had tried to put their team name around it. I really like those 3 words that represent your club. Again, it's got very like high school vibes to me, but that's totally fine. Orange Thunder, you can see that there's a big lightning bolt under Orange Thunder that sort of protrudes over the top of the H, which is great for 3D. And the thing is, I have no idea what those pair of eyes are. Like, I don't know if that's supposed to be an animal. I don't even know if they're supposed to be a pair of eyes. They look like a pair of eyes. And the lightning strikes, the white lightning around it kind of looks a bit like you can misinterpret that for something like else. It's just like, yeah, that just, I think keep the lightning strikes like it was with that orange one would have been much better. So, look, I like it, but it's just, it's really confusing me as to what that is. So I'm going to go with B tier for orange. All right, Parramatta Touch. You can tell I've been doing this for ages. So Parramatta Touch, it is very similar to the rugby league team, and I like that. It is very well made. They do have a nice one on Facebook now representing their 50th years, as you can see, EST 1975. Parramatta Touch, eels. I like the fact that the tail of the eel actually dips down with the E. The E actually goes down with it. The colours are perfect to what they play in. If anything, it's just... Well, there's one of the logos where the colours are inverted. You get more yellow than blue. So if that's a good definition of a bit of variety in their logo as well that matches if they have an away strip or an alternate strip. But I really like this. It's simple. I like the face of the eel. Actually shows that it's a little bit menacing. It's a little bit of fun. Like, fun doesn't mean laughing fun. It just means that little bit of playfulness on the logo. Hey, I'm going to put you at S tier. I really like this one. All right, Peninsula. Again, it's like a modern update of that old school badge look. This is a really nice logo. I love it. It says Peninsula Touch. Probably could have changed the font, but the font fits inside the logo, which is good. The big, massive piranha. It doesn't say piranha, but it's in your face. It's looking straight at you. The teeth, it's like a million teeth. And the colors are bang on. I love the red eyes too. I really like this one. They've only used shades of blue and white. There's actually no black in there. So to get the shades and to get the 3D part of it, look at the fins coming over the badge just a tad. And there's even a footy at the bottom of the badge too, which is a very close resemble to the original New South Wales Touch footy. So it's a nice little pay of respect there. Peninsula, you are getting an S as well. Penrith. Now, I believe Penrith have just updated this, and I don't understand why they went for something so simple. Again, simple's not always so bad, but yeah, I just don't understand. Like, there's not a lot of shades there, and there's not a lot of things to make that not look like a silhouette of a panther. Like, there's one little fingernail of white plus the eye, and that's it. To me, it's just too black. Like, it's too 2D. It just looks like someone could paint their hand black and do that just in front of the logo. And the circles, I don't know where they're from. I like it, like a lot of others have tacked on handwriting. I like that that's in a different color, and then Touch Football has that backdrop behind it. I think that's much better, but I think I don't know, it just seems too basic. I think you could have done so much more with a panther, especially because they're probably one of the biggest brands in Australian sport at the moment. So look, not bad. You know it's Penrith, you know it's Touch Football. You can understand that you can relate that to a panther if you know the rugby league team. But I'm going to give that a C tier. Port Macquarie Mako's Touch. Now, when you see Port Macquarie listed on my sideline, it just says Port Mako's, whereas here it's got Port Macquarie Mako's. So I'd like to see some similarities there. Looks like they're a shark. Again, you don't know. We've got other sharks. We've got the bull sharks. We've got another one coming up, which I won't talk about just yet. So, and it's on a badge. It's just, again, there's a lot of empty space. There's not a lot being used here. The ball, for some reason, is just looked like an afterthought that they've put there. You are the host of New South Wales State Cup, hopefully in the future. I think you deserve a better logo. So Port Mako's time for a new logo. Okay, so this is Raptors. This is Southwest Sydney. So it's as if it's an R. That's why it's here and not with the S's. So if you look on Facebook, it just says Raptors Touch. I like this one. I like it how it doesn't need to say Southwest Sydney because that's such a huge area. So even if it just said SWS a little bit in it, I love the purple. I love the dinosaur claws punching through it and over the top of the Raptors logo as well. I love that there's a footy inside the word Raptors and then it says touch under it. It all looks really nice. If anything, it's just a little, it's probably just the image that I downloaded. I think it's really good. I like this one. I love the fun that it has because it's very, it's got that sort of, I don't know how to explain it. It's got that animated dinosaur Disney feel. And I think it's actually quite well made. So, I don't think I'll give it S tier, but I will definitely say it's a strong A tier. Okay, Renegades. Again, I've just named them as Renegades instead of Northern Beaches, just because that's what everyone refers to them as. They always say, oh, you're playing Renegades. Okay, so Northern Beaches Touch, Renegades. I like the fact that they've done the circle and they've started writing Northern Beaches Touch, but they don't complete the circle. It then has Renegades at the bottom. I actually really like that. The colors match. There's a Renegade inside. Don't know why it's a skeleton. That's kind of a little bit weird, but hey, I like the feathers that come off the hat that this Renegade is wearing. And I love the font of Renegades too. It's that very sort of modernized, in your face, like that Impact, grungy style font. So I quite like this one. If anything, the Northern Beaches Touch part just looks, with the font of Renegades, that actually looks a little bit plain. So I'm going to give this one, again, an A tier. Ryde Eastwood Hawks. Ryde Eastwood Hawks what? Ryde Eastwood Hawks badminton team? Is it the Ryde Eastwood Hawks figure skating girls team? We don't know. I like the Hawk. The Hawk is great. It's holding a footy, which is cool. It's the same colours that they wear, the touch footy team wear. They're actually a Premier League team for a while. So yeah, a lot of good talent around Ryde Eastwood Hawks. Looking at the text as well, though, it does look tacked on. So there's good to this. The Hawk is great. The Hawk itself is great. They need to keep that. But Ryde Eastwood Hawks, that needs to be embedded somewhere in the logo. Otherwise, you just look like a Manly 2.0, and with that reason, you are joining them in D tier. Okay, Sharks. So Tarrant Point, Cronulla, whatever you want to call them, they are the Sharks, and their logo is very, very similar to the Cronulla Sharks Rugby League logo. There's two Sharks, kind of a little bit of a weird head on the Sharks, and their eyes are like very, very like that. But when you don't want to be sort of linked too much to the Tarrant Point, and you just want to be Sharks, and you just want to have Sharks in the logo, I think that's done right. The only thing is I still think that you should be assigned to a place. The only team I would have an exception to this is the Defence Warriors, because that's people from all over coming together, which is totally okay with everyone. But if you are playing for the Sharks and someone goes, where are they from? You need to be able to say Tarrant Point or Cronulla. So I think they need to pick one of those. Sharks has done well. I love the colours. I love the fact that they're going through a hoop and they're coming out. Like I love the symmetry to it. The font is good. It's very aquatic-like. They can also go in B tier. All right, Singapore. I love the simplicity of this. It reminds me of something that you'd see at the Olympics on an Olympics logo. Again, they can get away with being a little bit more corporate because they are a national side and they do take touch footy quite serious in Singapore. You can check out YouTube. There's a nice little sort of 10-minute documentary on touch football in Singleton. If I can remember, I'll put it in the comments. Hopefully you're still watching. Yeah, touch Singapore, much like Japan. I'm going to give this a C tier. I can't really judge it when you're comparing them to all these other logos, but they are participating, so they deserve to be on here. Singleton Storm. Now, there is another logo that I could find, and I wasn't sure which one to include with Singleton. On their Facebook, their profile is something a little bit different, but this one is what's on my sideline. This is the one that, that I've always associated myself with Singo, but it's pretty basic. It's kind of like Dubbo. The only thing saving it is the fact that instead of a handprint resembling nothing, this is a lightning bolt, and they are called Storm. And the Storm handwriting is very stormy, I guess. It's very lightning with the edges and things like that. But it can be done a lot better. Keep the font, keep the colors, keep the lightning bolt style, but just add more to it. Add some clouds, add some something. You can have a D tier. So it's not time for a new logo. Just make that one better. Alrighty, what's next? St. George, the Dragons. Another badge, this is kind of giving me East Roosters vibes with that red and that silhouette, and it's very, very old-fashioned. It's like 60s, 70s style, like Nems knitted it on or sewed it on to your blazer that you need to wear because it's a formality. St. George Touch Association looks very corporate. It's a little too serious for me. I think you deserve a new logo. Like, it just doesn't give touch football vibes the way touch football is represented these days. I'm sorry, St. George. Yeah, time for a new logo. St. George's Basin. Now, this is completely on the other end of it. You've gone from one end of St. George. Looking at this, there is also a dragon. St. George's Basin is actually nowhere near St. George. St. George's Basin is actually a country town. You can Google it if you want to. If you don't want to, that's fine. But this one is a little too silly, and it's a little bit too childish as far as the way that it looks like a 7-year-old has drawn it. The dragon's neck is completely broken. I don't know what the red is doing, whether it's part of a shirt that it's not wearing. It's, not a fan. The St. George's Basin text is just, it's not even, it doesn't even look like, it looks like it's not even straight. You can get a new logo as well, St. George's Basin. That looks like, that just looks too kiddie. And another one like this is, we talk about the complete contrast. This one looks like I'm watching an ad for a bank commercial. The Sydney Uni Touch Football Club, all the info is there, but it looks like it looks so formal. It looks insanely formal. I like the colors. I like the. I imagine it's a lion. I like the fact that it's just a head with like hair of mane coming off it. Looks cool. It's way off center, but that could be just what I've downloaded. But it just doesn't give touch footy vibes. Keep the lion, keep the badge. You can even keep Sydney Uni Touch Football if you don't want to have university. But redo that whole thing because that is just insanely corporate. Taree Touch Associations. Now, that is not hair behind the ball. That is flames because they are the Taree Flames. And which is kind of weird because they are blue in the logo, whereas they wear green. I imagine blue probably works better with a flame because you can get a blue flame. And I like blue, so that's okay. Taree Touch Association is nice font embedded in the logo. It looks like they're starting a badge at the bottom that goes into a footy and a flame. If you didn't know that they were flames, you'd have to sort of decipher that is a flame and not a lock of hair behind it. But I think it's a really good one. I think it's nice and simple. There's 3D elements to it. It's very well made. It can be an A tier as well, I think. Well done, Taree. University of New South Wales, Sydney. It looks like they've taken it doesn't even say, unless it does say, hang on, let me open that up. I want to see if this actually says touch footy. Come on. Bear with me a second. No, it doesn't. It looks like they've taken the logo of university, just used that and put a bunny underneath it. So, enough said there. You need a new logo. Get one that represents your touch football club, because there seems to be just more and more teams from University of New South Wales popping up. Is this the team that used to be the Bullets? I think it might have been. Okay, Wagga Vipers. I love the Viper. I love the look of that. I love the colours. There's a lot of colours there. You got dark blue, light blue, yellow, green, and then, yeah, your white as well as your outline. I love it how it's kind of like a badge, but then you've got Wagga Vipers with the Viper itself facing you. It just doesn't say touch football anywhere. It could be linked to another sport. It could be basketball. It could be their rugby union team. Don't know about that, but as far as the Wagga Vipers itself, I really like them. That can be a B tier. Wallsend Wolves Touch Football, another brand new logo. I know they updated this probably only 2 years ago. I like this colours, like the purple and the blue go together really well. Two colours I really like. Wolves stick out a lot, and I love the fact that Wallsend fits in between the W and the S, and then Touch Football is all across the bottom. That works really well. The wolf coming out, it probably could have been a little bit more. It's very sort of vague. You can definitely tell it's a wolf, but I think it's a little bit, like I said, I think it's a little bit vague. It's very like, I don't even know the word to describe this. But yeah, I like it. It's even got the 1982 there. Look, I'm going to give this a tier. A tier. I like it. I like it. If anything, it just doesn't have that bit of fun to it. It's just that the wolf's face is a little bit too serious. Warhope. Warhope. Whoa, I don't know what I've just done there. Anyway, this team, I think it's Warhope actually. Warhope Touch. The Wedge Tails. It's a creative name starting with W. I actually like that. I love that the Wedge Tails look like it's been held up by the wings. Again, they've used a badge, which is very traditional, but they've put everything inside it, which is cool. Warhope Touch, it's great font. The Warhope is got that bow tie style with touch being just a block, and then Wedge Tails being a thin font. I think all of that works. I think the colors are really nice. The red with those dots on them, I actually really, really like that. And looking at that Wedge Tail, I like the look of it as well. Yeah, I like this one. I'm going to give this this is close. This could be an S tier. Oh, yeah, I'm going to give it an S tier. I just love the wings, and yeah, that can go S tier. There's not a lot between that and Wallsend though. So if that's an S tier, Wallsend's a very, very high A tier. Wes. Again, I don't know what it means, the Lucite Lux Vestra. I will Google that. I'll find out what it means. I like the fact that there's something like that there that gives it a little bit of individuality. It's on a badge. The magpie is pretty bland. West Suburbs Touch Football looks like it's tacked on. EST 1980 looks like it's tacked on. But if they use that sort of badge with the West and the magpie, update the magpie, put all the other information's in there somewhere, you've probably got something. So I'm going to give you a C tier. It's very middle of the road, probably just lacking that bit of fun. Wingham Wombats. Okay, this is probably a club that not many people have heard of, and I know them just because I live near them. They're part of the Northern Eagles district. And I love how country it looks. I love the yellow and the brown. It's very warm colours. I love the look of the wombat as well. And it says wombat. You know it's touch. You know where they're from, and you know the colours that they wear. And it's every time I see it, I'm just I don't even know if it's just trying to do that. Every time I see it, I just make that face. So I think it has a little bit of impact there. I think, and like, who doesn't love a wombat? Really? I'm going to give this an S tier. You can have a go at me in the comments for that, but I really like it. It's a good one. Wollongong Devils. And so, lack of devil. We've got two clubs that are called the Devils, and neither of them actually have a devil. The one good thing about this one, though, is there is that devil's tail on the S, Wollongong Devil's Touch. The information's there, I guess, but again, there's nothing beyond font with a tail. So you can use this font, use that font, but include a devil, include everything else. You can include a devil where it links up, where its own tail is combined with the S. Do something that is just way too basic. So, Wollongong Devils, it's time for a logo. It's time for a new logo. And finally, we have the Yamba. They are called the Yabbies, and that's only because I only know that because I played against them in the 2017 Touch Football State Cup, and unfortunately they beat us in the semi, which sucks. Sent us home. But yeah, they play in yellow and black, so that's perfectly fine. Yamba Touch. I love how the pincers of the Yabby come up, and even the lines are a nice touch just to fill in that empty space. They're probably just lacking some information about it being a Yabby, and I would like to see if they are a long-standing club actually put that there. It's on a badge, very simple, so we'll give this one a C tier. So we have it finally. We have 6 in the S tier. We have Gunnedah, we have Murwillumbah, Parramatta, Peninsula, Warchope, and Wingham. In A tier, we have Ballina, Sunny Coast, Hills Hornets, Maxville, Norths, Raptors, Renegades, Taree, and Wallsend. B tier, we have ADF, Canterbury, Cyclones, Hurricanes, Redbacks, Bullfrogs. I'm going to go mascots from here on. Death Adders, Neptunes, Knights, Thunder, Sharks, and Vipers. In C tier, we have Warriors, Tigers, Bandits, Dragons, Japan, Lower Blue Mountains, Nowra Shoalhaven, Old Bar, Penrith, Singapore, West, Yamba, and in D tier we have Bankstown, Brindis, Magic, Foster Tuncurry, Lismore Lizards, Manly, Mudgee, Right Eastwood, Singleton, and Sydney Uni. And unfortunately, it's time for a new logo for Berry, Dubbo, East, Hornsby, Port Mako, St George's Basin, University of New South Wales, and Wollongong. Guys, if you've made it to the end, thank you so much. This was actually a bit of a pain to do. I've been talking about it for ages, and I really wanted to get it out before State Cup. Just 58 teams represented, and a lot of those teams have multiple teams. So there's a lot of teams coming up to Port Macquarie, depending on where you're from this weekend. Normally, I will do a prediction. If I can get the time, I will do that. But I wanted this year to try this instead. If you disagree with any of these mascots and you think I'm way off the mark, just let me know in the comments. And tell me why. Tell me why you think Wollongong Devils is the greatest logo in the world. Tell me what that handprint in Dubbo means. Tell me what the fists are in Maxville Falcons. Give me some information, please. That would be amazing because everyone else sees it as well in the comments. But until then, thank you very much for watching. I will see you all this weekend at Port Macquarie, and go the mighty Maitland Redbacks.